The Buffalo Bills finished 12-5 and second in the AFC East. Heading into the season, the Bills were the heavy favorites to win the AFC East again, even though a lot of people projected New England would be better, including myself. I don't think anybody expected them to win 14 games and make the Super Bowl. I take no pleasure in trying to fix the Bills because, if I'm being completely blunt, I hate the Bills. I hate them with all my life, okay? And there was nothing happier than when the Dolphins beat the Bills so unbelievably hard this past year. Only problem is that the Bills won a playoff game, and we haven't done that in 25 plus years. So I can't really gloat on a regular season win like I want to because my team sucks. Enough about the Dolphins before I crash out. Let's go ahead and talk about how we can make this Bills team better. Now, they lost in the divisional round to the Broncos after a controversial call, and a lot of people thought, hey, it was a catch. A lot of people thought, hey, it was not a catch. Regardless of what you want to think, the Buffalo Bills lost in the playoffs to a team that wasn't led by their father, Patrick Mahomes, that wasn't led by Lamar Jackson, and it wasn't led by Joe Burrow. None of the top QBs were in the playoffs this year, and yet the Bills still were divisional round exits. How do we fix this? Let's talk about how. Well, for one, the run defense wasn't very good this year, but come playoff time, it really didn't matter as much. Like in that divisional game against the Broncos, they didn't really failed to stop the run because the Broncos didn't really have a run game themselves. But it's not necessarily a problem that needs to be glaringly fixed, primarily because they were without Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver is the heart and soul of that defensive line, and without him, the defensive line struggled, the run defense struggled, and when he comes back, I expect that run defense to greatly improve. So I'm not putting too much stock on the run defense again needing to be a primary fix this offseason. What I do think should be a primary fix is the wide receiver room, and I'm going to go ahead and start there with my first point. They need to sign a wide receiver or trade for a wide receiver, okay? The last couple of years without Stephon Diggs, it has been rough, okay? They thought Khalil Shakir could fill in that void for Stephon Diggs, and he hasn't been able to. And look, Khalil Shakir is a damn good wide receiver. He's not a wide receiver one. You need to make it happen, okay? Now, in my mock draft that I'm going to be showing later, they also address wide receiver on the draft as well. But you need a primary wide receiver one. Mike Evans and Romeo Doubs are available. Even though Romeo Doubs isn't the wide receiver one you want, he's a lot better than whatever you have right now, okay? I'm looking at this Buffalo Bills depth chart and looking at how bad the wide receiver play is. My God, how in the world did the Buffalo Bills even make the playoffs with this wide receiver room, okay? Brandon Cooks and Joshua Palmer as your wide receiver 2 and 3. My goodness. God bless Khalil Shakir. He had to carry that room. But I think getting a Romeo Doubs in here is going to greatly improve the wide receiver room, and already is a way better target than whatever they have in that room as well. Mike Evans is a big shot, is a big swing. Obviously, he's on the older side, but let me tell you, this man is about as reliable as it gets. He has been hurt recently, but I don't think that they need to play Mike Evans or feed Mike Evans a great amount of times. Look, they have a running game to lean on. They have Josh freaking Allen to lean on, okay? They have Josh Allen, they have James Cook. Their running game, again, was really, really good this year. It's not like they're going to need to get a Mike Evans necessarily, but let me tell you, having him would be a great upgrade over what the heck you have at your wide receiver room right now. So I'm getting a Mike Evans, I'm getting a Romeo Doubs, and I'm also going to draft a wide receiver in the first round, Casey Concepcion. I'll show you guys the full mock draft in a second, but I think Casey Concepcion, even though he has drop problems, I think he can get open, which is something that the wide receiver position from the Bills does not do very often, okay? You were not seeing a lot of wide open receivers for Josh Allen to target. Next up, they need a pass rusher. I also have them addressing this in the draft in the second round with Malachi Lawrence out of UCF, but also in free agency. Joseph Osai or Malcolm Kuntz are my targets. I don't think you need a crazy elite pass rush, if I'm being completely blunt. I do think you just need a solid one. And I think that Gregory Rousseau is one of the better edge rushers in the entire league. You don't have to pair him with an absolute beast, okay? I think you could draft a pass rusher in the second round of this year, and you can also sign a pass rusher for depth. And I think that's going to be more than enough to make your pass rush at least a little formidable. Again, the return of Ed Oliver is going to be huge. I think that's a big deal, and I think him coming back is I cannot stress enough, it's going to be a very big deal. Linebacker. They had very, very bad linebacker play this year. Matt Milano has taken a step back. So did Terrell Bernard. Shaq Thompson was all right, but overall, not a very good linebacker room. Look, Matt Milano, you're going to have to go. I think you let him walk. Bernard's under contract for a little bit longer, I believe. So you're going to have to hope that he gets better. But I do have you signing a linebacker in this free agency. I have two options for you, Caden Ellis and Devin Bush. After you do all the restructures, after you do all the cuts, I do expect you to have enough money to get a Caden Ellis or even a Devin Bush. I think you need a fill-in for Matt Milano. Matt Milano was great for you last couple of years. Sad that he couldn't really turn the corner this year, but he's probably going to get money somewhere else. I think Caden Ellis is going to be much better. I think Devin Bush is also going to be much better. I also have you drafting a linebacker in round 3. Deontay Lawson is my third round linebacker that I have you guys selecting. So he's going to be somebody that I think you build up, as I don't think you're going to sign Caden Ellis or Devin Bush to long-term contracts. I think Deontay Lawson is going to be a nice depth piece and hopefully your starter moving forward. And then I think, even though Josh Allen is really, really good, and I don't think offensive line is a crazy concern, look, Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins are going to be there. They're great left tackles. It's really the interior. David Edwards and Connor McGovern are going to be hard to replace in terms of their run game, but I do think you can replace them. I think John Simpson is an option. And at center, you have a couple of options. You could sign a center from free agency. I have you guys signing Sean Ryan. I think he played relatively solid for Green Bay, but also you do have a guy that was waiting behind Connor McGovern, and that's Cedric Van Prangranger. I think he has an opportunity to get the job over Sean Ryan, but I would suggest just having them both duking it out and seeing. I was gonna have you guys draft a guard as well in my mock draft, but I didn't end up doing that. I do have you guys signing John Simpson, and I also have you guys signing another cheap guard in Robert Jones as well, just to have some depth at that guard spot. Maybe even a Chris Paul. Now that Mekhi Becton is available, it's possible that maybe they take a swing at him as well. I don't think it matters too much in the grand scheme of things, mainly because you have Josh Allen as your QB and he can run for days. Let's take a look at the mock draft. I already mentioned the first 3 picks, Casey Concepcion, Malachi Lawrence, and Deontay Lawson. Michael Taffe, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, is the round 4 safety. I would argue that he's probably going to be battling for a starting spot this year over Taylor Rapp. Damar Hamlin, Darnell Savage, and Jordan Poyer likely all going to walk. I could picture you signing Damar Hamlin to a new deal. Regardless, I do have you getting a brand new safety. The rest is just a bunch of depth pieces. So Mike Washington Jr. at running back. I don't know if you're going to return next year with the running back duo of Ty Johnson and James Cook. If you do, that's fine. But I would recommend bringing in a running back just to make things interesting. Ty Johnson's on the bit of an older side. I think you need some explosiveness. Mike Washington Jr. brings that. And then I have you getting some cornerback depth as well with Domani Jackson, and linebacker depth, very important linebacker depth with Bryce Boucher. Overall, I think that this Bills team is not that far off from being Super Bowl contenders. They are Super Bowl contenders. They have Josh Allen for goodness sake, okay? You just need to fix a wide receiver room. Make it not the Josh Allen show. Look, the running game you figured out. It's now about getting these wide receivers open. Have Josh Allen have an even better year than usual, okay? And then it's about getting healthy as well. Ed Oliver needs to be healthy so that the run defense doesn't have to be bad. And then depth at pass rusher. Like I said, Greg Rousseau, incredible player. I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel. Have him be the primary pass rusher and just have the depth around him. The Bills are still contenders, okay? They're still the Bills. And I'd even go as far as to say they could even win the division again this year, okay? They have Josh freaking Allen. Firing Sean McDermott is a bit crazy, right? And hiring the offensive coordinator as the head coach is a bit uninspiring. But like I said, you have Josh Allen, so you have a chance. The Bills, they don't have to make any crazy tweaks. They just need to revamp that wide receiver room. And if it's a great wide receiver room, guys, they've been missing that all this time. A good to great wide receiver room could get them to get to the Super Bowl for the first time in over 20 years.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.